We have to be business changers, where we create a culture of continuous communication, continuous engagement, and ultimately continuous improvement of experiences, because we see everything, right? When we architect these kinds of solutions, we see the entire journey in ways that a lot of the business lines do not. It comes down to really three things: people, technology, and process and organization. When we think of CX as driving awareness of all of this technology and process and improvement, if we have the right people, we have the right technology, and we work with process and mindfulness and deliberateness to drive process and organization back out to the business, that's when we drive high-performance CX programs. Now, I'm going to start with people. Step one is thinking about it. You and CX experts inside your organizations and partners that you work with and technology vendors like Medallia and others that you engage with understand the data. We know how to collect it. We know how to analyze it. But we have to continuously be asking questions about, are we doing it the right way? Is something changing in the business? We have to understand how to get to root cause, using AI, not just in the way that we interact with customers, employees, but the way we analyze and understand things. And Fabrice is going to show you some pretty cool stuff that we've added to our products over the last 12 months about doing that. Okay, and when we do that, we become essentially the nucleus, right? The energy that drives the atomic change inside our organizations. We help improve the contact center. We help improve digital interactions and journeys. We help modernize lines of business as they move from traditional to AI-powered experiences in their front lines or in their operations parts of the business. And we also improve brand perceptions, brand capabilities, product capabilities, because feedback that comes through CX, particularly when it's rich, is actually useful to be able to recommend how to improve products and brand experiences. And one company that's really driving that kind of ecosystem within their organization is Bank of America. Their experience team operates widely across many lines of business, from the digital, the contact center, journey teams, both in the physical and the online, to drive transformation, not just scores. And they're led by a person that I'm excited to bring on the stage to tell us more. I'd like to welcome Jason Renteria, the SVP of Client Experience and the Client Experience Executive at Bank of America. So let's please give Jason a warm welcome. Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. All right, so Jason, tell me a little bit about you and your role within the bank, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, thanks, Sid, first for the warm welcome. I'm always happy to talk about Bank of America with you and maybe a few friends. But I lead enterprise client experience, client feedback, and insights for the consumer bank. And my team runs Bank of America Voices, which is our always-on platform where we're listening to clients hundreds of millions of times every single year. We support 60,000 frontline teammates, and really my focus is to put client listening at the forefront of everything we do so that we can know and understand, anticipate our client needs, and actually take action on that. But my focus is really putting client feedback in the places where we make decisions. You know, those decisions are all over the place with a company our size. It's certainly with the front line. It's with our product owners. It's with our journey teams. And our executives want to know what clients want and need as well. So,
very good, very good. Can you talk a little about how you built the program, and how does it support such scale within an organization so big as B of A?
Yeah, I get that question a lot because we do operate at a very large scale.
Yeah.
Billions of interactions every year. We service nearly 70 million clients. And so at our scale, client experience only works if it's deeply embedded into how we run the business. Mm-hmm. It cannot be a side program. It just doesn't work. So from the top down, we have a shared purpose, and I think that's one of the things that makes it run, is having the executive sponsorship. But our purpose is to help make clients' financial lives better through the power of every interaction. So everything that we do is client-centric, but I think what that does is it gives our employees permission and empowers them to pick up the phone. We don't have to say to each other, hey, is client experience a priority? We know it. It gives us permission to work together, and it makes client experience everybody's job. So even though I'm on a client experience team, everybody plays, everybody wins. So the other thing that happens is we've made clear investments into making it work. Technology investments internal, we have a dedicated technology team. The leader of it is here today. We also have made investments with Medallia, and that relationship is going almost a decade now. We've also made investments into dedicated subject matter experts. So across the organization, we have teams that work on client experience and own the client feedback, own the action plans, and they know their spaces better than anybody, and they have a lot of passion around it, and that is key because there's a sense of ownership around that, and it all rolls up to the shared purpose. So again, client experience only works when it's part of how we run our business. Another thing I would say that I've learned along the way when it comes to scaling up, scaling does not come from more dashboards, more reports. I think we've built hundreds of dashboards, hundreds of reports. And what it really comes down to is clear ownership, strong relationships across the organization that we invest a lot into, and shared accountability into that higher purpose.
Yeah, we violently agree that CX programs are not defined by the number of dashboards. I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could just ask a question to your CX application and it would just answer it for you? Hold my beer. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So tell me a little bit about the structure. Again, we talked about the size and the people, but how have you involved that kind of structure to innovate your CX programs from both the technology and just generally kind of a people perspective?
Yeah, we've done a lot of growth and learning along the way. When we first started, we started with 6 touch points, so 6 survey programs.
Right.
We're getting ready to launch number 53. So essentially, we're listening wherever clients interact with us. And in the center of that is digital. Last year, we had 4 billion logins into our digital spaces. And Erica, as our clients are getting more familiar with Erica, since we've launched that in 2018, we've had 3 billion interactions with Erica. And what that tells us is very, very important because it tells us that our clients are getting more comfortable with using Erica. And as they get more comfortable with using Erica, it fits not only our high-tech, high-touch strategy, but it also opens the door for a safe space for us to listen and also have a two-way dialogue. So you may not know this, but for everybody who's banking with Bank of America, you can actually go to Erica today, say leave feedback, and it will flow into our client experience program, into our Medallia dashboards.
We are linked. We can get feedback
from
Erica.
that. So we're doubling down on Erica, and we're working on now making it a two-way so that Erica understands when and how to ask for feedback based on recent interactions.
Yeah. I like to say, you can't have Bank of America anymore. America without Erica.
That's right.
AI is not the strategy, it enables the strategy, basically. Yeah. So let's talk about AI generally. Where do you see AI and digital tools influencing your CX, from a customer and even an employee perspective?
Yeah, AI is certainly a focal point for us, as it is for, I think, just about everybody right now. But at Bank of America, AI is not the strategy. AI enables the strategy.
Right.
And if we can use AI well, it's going to give our employees superpowers. It's going to take away the no-joy work and free them up to focus on the client. So they can be more equipped to help with complex needs, give more personalized advice, make that human connection. And those are the things that clients really want. Right. They don't want us fumbling around looking for procedures. They don't want those types of things. And so the same way we are investing into Erica as a way to automate for our clients, we're also investing in Erica Assist, which is the digital assistant for our employees. And so our teams will have their own guided assistant, which enables them to deliver for the client, increase client satisfaction, gain efficiency. But what's critical about AI is it has to be trustworthy. I think we acknowledge that. I think everybody does. And so financial decisions, when clients interact with the bank, financial decisions are deeply personal. And so AI needs to be transparent. Our clients want to know how we're using it. It needs to be secure. And it needs to be responsible.
Right.
So our goal is to be able to use AI, client feedback, and human judgment, and have them all work together. And then you don't just get efficiency, you actually get better experiences, and you ultimately build trust, which is what our goal is. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. You know, you touched on one thing I want to just kind of pull out of your last comments, which is that you're using or building out Erica Assist to actually help your employees use AI to do a better job supporting their customers. And there's another interesting sort of kind of subtext to that, which is as you change the employee experiences, collecting employee feedback also is a really valuable way of understanding how employees are adjusting to change, and that feedback helps to improve the way employees work as well. So experience transformation doesn't just happen at the customer level, it happens at the employee level too.
Absolutely.
And a big part of that is using those signals to help improve employee experience too.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. I really appreciate our talk, and great insights.